You're in ice for Elizabeth Hogan. You're gonna stay out of his dressing room. The Macho Man is gonna tell you an order, and if you don't do it, it's gonna be real bad. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
Of course, I'm recording. That's just something I do sometimes. Uh, I don't know. Anyways, if you watch my Royal Rumble reviews, thank you. And they're still on my channel if you haven't. I want to do things a little bit differently. I want to have more fun with the reviews. I want to give trivia. I want to be a bit more mellow. I want to have my actual personality come out these WrestleMania reviews. So if you're just starting watching them, I'd really appreciate it. We're going to go for a ride. So if you hit like and subscribe to my channel, we're going to dish out videos every day, including a WrestleMania review at least once a day. So for the next 39 days, there'll be at least one WrestleMania review. And we do matches of the day, countdowns, stay with the hot topics, and Raw and SmackDown review as well. So I think you guys will like the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, I encourage you to do so. It'll help me get my feet off the floor and make this a big channel one day, which is the goal. Don't have the fancy equipment, but that doesn't mean we can't get it in the future. All right, let's start the WrestleMania anthology with WrestleMania 1. It's an event that is, I don't want to say the polar opposite at reception, but despite the event's success, the reviews tend to be mixed. Reviewers consider the main event to be humorous and entertaining, but lacking in technical wrestling, but a big spectacle nonetheless. Despite this, it received Pro Wrestling Illustrated's annual PWI Match of the Year award. They're talking about the Hogan main event. But WrestleMania took place over closed circuit television. It was viewed by over 1 million fans that way, and took place on Sunday, March 31st, 1985, at the sold-out Madison Square Garden. All right. We all know that Jim Crockett Promotions was a rival for the WWF at the time. They had Starrcade. McMahon wanted his annual wrestling show. It was going to be called Hulkamania at one point because event was based on Hogan, but that's just a rumor anyway. But it started WrestleMania, and and it's another rumor that the Fink might have came up with the term WrestleMania. The MSG Network had a top 50 countdowns for Madison Square Garden, the biggest things that have ever happened, and this was number 30 on the top 50 countdown. The brainchild of McMahon. If this event succeeded, so would he. If it didn't, neither would he. The Rock and Wrestling Connection, you have to mention. The people joined in, like Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper. They had everyone at this event, though. Billy Martin, Muhammad Ali, the Rockettes, Liberace. Nonetheless, here we go. The loose ropes really stand out in the first match, and the awful promos. Tito Santana and the Executioner. I know that spells WrestleMania excitement, WrestleMania classics. The term WrestleMania moment came from this match. That's a joke. A bad one. So we'll just get to the actual rating of the match because the match wasn't very long and you can't really get into it. I believe it was a figure four, a figure four leg lock by Santana at 4:43. So I'll give that a star and a quarter since it's the first match in WrestleMania history, right? The next match is going to be a dud, so I have to feel like I have to give it something. King Kong Bundy then had Jimmy Hart in his corner versus SD, Special Delivery Jones. There was a big avalanche splash in the corner and not much after that. This was before the Warrior hit his splash. Next is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus the old Doink the Clown, Matt Bourne. Matt Bourne, obviously, a little bit ahead of his time. He was a good technical wrestler, so Steamboat had a good chemistry with him and hit his forearm shots, his arm bars. Bourne would do knee to the head, apply that pressure to the sternum. Physical match for its time, but the crossbody from the top rope with Steamboat got him the win at 4:37. 2.5 stars. David Sammartino, the son of Bruto, obviously, took on Brutus Beefcake, who had luscious Johnny Valent in his corner. This is one of the 2 appearances at a WrestleMania ever of the living legend Bruno Sammartino, and it's the first 2. Brutus Beefcake worked a slow, methodical pace, and David couldn't keep up to his father's name. That's pretty much the story here. The match went to a way too long 12:43 and ended with all four men brawling as Bruno got involved, as did Luscious Johnny Valiant. And I gave this match 2 stars. Greg the Hammer Valentine, in the first title match in WrestleMania history, defended the IC title versus the Junkyard Dog. Valentine was one of the best Intercontinental Champions of all time, and they're both Hall of Famers for a reason. In the end, the Hammer walked out the match in typical heel fashion, giving the JYD the win by countout at 7:05. So Valentine got too much from the JYD. The offense was there, the crowd was roaring, but he said, "Let's go back to the locker rooms and we'll keep the title, but we'll take the loss. No, screw the winner's money. Screw the winner's money. We'll just keep the belt." Next was a tag team match for the tag titles. Lou Albano in one corner, Freddie Blassie in the other. You got the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov in one corner. You got Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham in the other. A lot of stars there. That's why this tag team match was an early match on the Allied Powers, the greatest forces of all the tag team wrestling DVD they put out. It was a good match. The title switched hands at 6:55. I rated it 2 stars, 3/4. Andre the Giant had his moment with Big John Studd where he slammed him. That was a dud. But we all know that moment where Monsoon goes, "Andre picked him up, he slammed him." That was a bad impression, probably, but it's not like I'm naive of bad impressions. Wendy Richter was Cyndi Lauper versus Lolani Kai, the Fabulous Moolah, for the women's title. Some people think this match was sloppy, and it definitely was, but for its time, there was bad blood. They wanted to make it more of a brawl, so I didn't mind the rolling around. Plus, Wendy Richter wasn't too bad to look at back then. Just saying. It ended with the girls just want to have fun, the fans are all happy, dancing, singing, that kind of fun stuff, so I gave it 2 stars and 1/4. Now we're at the main event of WrestleMania, which is more of a spectacle than it is a technical wrestling match. Hulk Hogan and Mr. T had Jimmy Snuka in their corner, while Roddy Piper and Orndorff had Cowboy Bob Orton in their corner. Muhammad Ali was the guest referee, and here we go, the main event of WrestleMania. The 30th best MSG moment of all time. Piper and Hogan had a red-hot feud going into this, from the war to settle the score the month before. I'm not trying to rhyme, or otherwise this would be a snore. Oh my god. I can't even hide my face. Moving on. Piper and Hogan back to the main event. Piper and Hogan hated each other. Just hated each other. Piper's heel heat, it's something else. It's something else. Just like the corny meter on my last joke. But it's definitely something else. When I said I was going to show my personality in these reviews, I did not mean that. That was just out of line. That last joke was just stupid in every way. Like, yeah. Anyways, here we go. This main event was all over the place. It was really just action happening everywhere. There wasn't a time in the match where like two people's jockeyed for a position. They didn't have catch can style. They didn't lock up and then someone apply an armbar. There was nothing like that. It was just constant tags, constant. Can we get away with this? Can we get away with that? Should I beat him up? Should I pose? It was more of a spectacle. That's what I meant. At the end, Cowboy Bob Orton he comes off the top and hits Orndorff accidentally with the cast. Hulk Hogan makes a pin at 13-13, and the faces win. And this gets 2 stars and 3/4 just because of what it meant for wrestling. The show overall gets a 5.5 out of 10. And it only gets a 5.5. It gets a couple points for being the first WrestleMania and for it being a success. Everything for McMahon happened to go uphill after this event. So WrestleMania 1, a passing grade of 5.5 out of 10. I'll see you here for WrestleMania 2 because the WrestleManias are just going to get better and better as they go. Sometimes. So this anthology will be just as good as the Royal Rumble, if not better. And that is your grade. I'm Brett Mix. Please subscribe to the channel below this video. You'll see the button. And I'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you at the next WrestleMania review. That's it for WrestleMania 1. Brett out.